Howdy, this is Jeff Johnson, creator of WeatherMaker. I've recently added Raymar Ch Optimization parameters for WeatherMaker. I just wanted to show those to you now. I'm showing the medium-heavy scattered clouds. Right now we're in HD resolution and we have VSync turned on. So let's show you the new Raymar Ch Optimization parameters. On the WeatherMaker prefab is the performance profile. If you haven't watched the performance profile tutorial, I highly suggest you watch that. Right now I'm using the Fantastic profile, which is the highest quality, and there's some new parameters here to show you. The first parameter I've added is a volumetric cloud downsample scale for post-process. This is the directional light sun rays or God rays. You can see those as I move the sun. Those God rays are moving around. This allows a downsample of that, which actually, when I was doing my tests, I saw about a 20% speed boost going from quarter resolution from full resolution. So that and the visual appearance look pretty much the same. So that's a nice win right there. The next optimization parameters that I'd like to look at with you are the Raymar Ch Optimizations. There's 5 of them. We have a Raymar Ch skip threshold. What this means is if you have 8 misses in a row during the Raymar Ch where there's no cloud, then it will start increasing the Raymar Ch step to try and get out of the cloud zone faster, which should result in less texture lookups and better performance. When the Raymar Ch thinks that it might be in a cloud, you can lower the step distance to try and get better quality clouds. And then when it determines that it actually is in a cloud, you can lower the step again to get even more detailed clouds. So let's show you what these two parameters do. It's best if I look away from the sun where the powder effect is greater. And let's go ahead and make this bigger so you can see it better. Alright, so let's turn up this detail. Now you'll notice that the cloud details kind of got more fuzzy. And as I lower that, the clouds become more detailed. Right about there, we're starting to notice a little bit of noise because the Raymar Ch is so small and our clouds are moving that we've kind of got a little bit of noise there. So I tend to back that off a little bit. Now you can help reduce that noise, that kind of fuzzy noise, by reducing the maybe in cloud so that it becomes a little bit more accurate. And now as you can see here, we've got a pretty nice combination of Raymar Ch reduction and noise reduction, and you can really see the details and edges on these clouds. But again, watch out for artifacts if you're playing with these parameters because they do introduce some variability into the Raymar Ch, so just watch out for any artifacts. Like up here you can notice there's a few pixels kind of popping in and out. So if you see that, you just want to raise these properties until those go away. Or another option is you can do a post-process blur, or you could do temporal reprojection, anti-aliasing with the Unity post-processing stack. That helps to clean up popping pixels as well. So just be on the lookout for that as you play with these parameters. The Raymar Ch skip multiplier basically multiplies the Raymar Ch step distance every time it misses a cloud once it exceeds this threshold. So after 8 misses, we'll start multiplying 1.1. If we miss again, multiply again by 1.1, and so on. So as you can see, if I ratchet that up, we start getting a lot of artifacts and noise, and that's because it's increasing that step distance too quickly and it's jumping right through clouds, which is not what we want. And that's why we have it set at about 1.1 so that it increases slowly. And then if you've missed 10 or 20 in a row, you can probably safely assume that you're not in a cloud and that you're in this kind of clear sky. And so it helps get out of the Raymar Ch quickly. The Raymar Ch skip multiplier basically says don't multiply by this number, in this case the 1.1. Don't do that more than 16 times in a row. That helps to, if you have, say, a distant cloud, so if you missed a bunch of times but there was a cloud off in the distance, that would help you to not jump through that distant cloud. So I've kept that at 16 by default, but you can play with that if you'd like. Okay, so I've turned on 4K resolution. I'm using a recording software that is a CPU hog, which also affects my frame rate. Typically when I have the recorder off in 4K without VSync, I'm at about 110 FPS. This is on a 1080 Ti. So let's see how these performance parameters affect 4K no VSync performance. So I'm hitting 72-ish frames per second. So now I'm going to go into the performance profile and turn off the Raymar Ch Optimizations. And now we're kind of in the low 70s, 60s and 70s. Turning that on helps a little bit, gets us in the mid to high 70s sometimes, so not a whole lot of difference there. Probably the 1080 Ti is beefy enough to not care too much about these, but on a lower end graphics card you might see better mileage. We can raise this detail, that helps a little bit now that we're in the 80s, high 70s. We can raise the skip count a little bit. If you raise that too much you might see artifacts, so just be careful. So now we're hitting a pretty smooth 80 FPS on 4K without VSync with a recording software, so not too shabby there. Again, that's at full resolution with temporal reprojection turned on. So looks pretty good. Again, this is at 4K with no downsampling. Typically at 4K you could probably go half resolution on these clouds. I'm not seeing a whole lot of difference there. I mean, a tiny bit. But given that it doubles the frame rate, you probably want to go half resolution when you're rendering in 4K with the clouds. So now we're at 160 FPS and smooth sailing basically. So anyway, that's the tutorial for Raymar Ch Optimizations. I hope you enjoyed it. Please email me, support@digitalruby.com, if you have questions or feedback. Please visit the Discord channel or the Unity forums also as well. If you have questions, I'm happy to help. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day.